All right, now with all that being said, someone did ask me and said, what if instead of doing $300,000 right here and doing a $30,000 prepayment to down to 270,000 on like after day one, what if we just did a loan amount right from the beginning of 270,000 and had no prepayment? Okay, so as you can see, if we do that, it's going to change a few things. The few numbers get moved around. So what I'm going to do is just go back to the original here, and we'll look at the figures that we want to look at here. So if we have a $300,000 mortgage and everything is the same, and we have our extra payment of $627, and we have a $30,000 prepayment, let's say on day one, which is up to 10%. So there's no additional penalty given by the bank. We can see that our interest savings, okay, let's look here. Our total payments are 367. I'm going to write this down over here. 367 total payments, and total interest is 67,700 over time. And that's what we have there. Okay. So now that's 300. Let's try if we have a $270,000. Okay. We're going to just, instead of getting a $300,000 mortgage, we're just going to put a 270 down and put an extra, like we're going to just put 30,000 more down in our payment before we on our down payment without getting the mortgage at all, like before the mortgage. Okay, so now I've made a $270,000 mortgage there, and everything is changed accordingly. Now let's just get rid of these extra payments here. First of all, if I have no extra payments, because I just need to make sure everything is the same here. So no extra payments. What it tells me is that my principal is $564.18. So if I was to double up, I would have a $564 payment that I could do with no penalty, $564.18. So I'm gonna put that in there, and I put that in here. I don't know if it should have been here at the beginning, but I'm just going to be consistent now. So $564.18. Okay. So if I do that, and now what do I have is a $270,000 mortgage and zero extra payments. So what I have now, let's look at our numbers here. Okay, so total payments, I'm paying only $348,000. I'm paying $348,000 in total, but look at that, my total interest is $78,000. How does that work? Okay, let's look at the, so total interest is $78,000 I'm paying. If I get a mortgage for $270 because I put $30,000 more down on my principal before the mortgage in order to get a lower mortgage rate. And the reason, again, this is happening is because if we do this, we do not have the $30,000 to skate ourselves down the mortgage curve. Okay, so again, $270,000 total interest I'm paying over the course of my thing, $78,000. Okay, now again, let's change that. Let's go to 300,000. 300,000. We're going to change this to 627 because that's the amount of that'll be my double up payment. And let's just say 627 here too. And I'm going to say $30,000 was paid on day one. There we go. Total interest we're paying is only $67,000. Okay, so the only thing that is different from situation one to situation two is that the day that when we're putting our mortgage down payment on, we're putting less money down on the principal of the house before the mortgage and getting a larger mortgage. So if you get the larger mortgage and do the additional payment, all else constant, meaning we're doing the double up payments no matter what. Okay, but if we get a $300,000 mortgage and we do a $30,000 down payment on our principal on day one of the mortgage being dispersed, the total interest we're going to be paying over the course of the full mortgage is $67,000. Whereas if we were to get a $270,000 mortgage, which sounds more intuitive, like, hey, I have less debt, this number would actually be $78,000. Okay, so we're looking at like $11,000 difference. Now I tested something else too. I said, well, that's nice if we that's what the numbers stack up if we are doing the extra payments. What would it be like if we didn't have the extra payments? So let's see here. Let's just go back to $300,000 and let's just make this a 0. Okay, so we're gonna make 0 extra payments. So we're not doing we're not doing any double up, but we're still gonna do the additional payment of 300,000. Okay, so no double up. Okay, so no double up, but we're still doing a $300,000 mortgage plus 30,000 payment on day 1. And the total interest I have right there is 113,000. Okay, $113,000 I'm paying over the course of my mortgage if I do a $300,000 mortgage and I do a $30,000 payment on day 1. Well, let's see what happens if I just make this into 270,000 and bring this down to a 0 payment. And now look at that. The total interest I'd be paying over the course of the mortgage is $135,000. Okay, now again, this secondary example here is where there's no double up payment. So if you're not doing the double up payment and you just have a regular old mortgage, going for the larger mortgage and then doing a massive principal payment on day 1, in this case with the $300,000 mortgage, saves you basically the difference between 113 and 135,000. You save $22,000. Okay, and basically for doing nothing, $22,000 for one single decision, which is to get a higher mortgage and then do a prepayment on day 1. So again, right now we have the lower mortgage. We have the lower mortgage and no prepayment, and we're paying $135,000 interest. If we get the higher mortgage and do a $30,000 prepayment, we're only paying $113,000 interest. Okay, again, that is one singular decision that is being made, and it's giving you $22,000 extra in your pocket. Now that again is for a $300,000 mortgage. What if your house was a little bigger because of inflation and your mortgage needed to be, let's say, a little bigger? So a $450,000 mortgage, and now we're going to put $45,000 on the front. Our interest is going to be $170,000. Okay, that's nice. So that's a $45,000 mortgage. A $450,000 mortgage with $45,000 being put on day 1. Let's compare that to getting a $405,000 mortgage because we've put the extra $45,000 the day before onto the initial principal in our initial down payment for the house. So we've reduced the loan by $45,000, and now we're not going to have any additional payment on day 1. Let's see what that goes up to. Oh my gosh, $203,000. 203. So if the mortgage is a $450,000, if you get a $450,000 house and do a 10% payment on day 1 versus getting a $405,000 mortgage because you thought that putting down as much on your principal at the beginning would be the best idea, it actually turns out that getting the bigger mortgage and doing the bigger prepayment will save you $33,000. Again, $33,000 for one single decision. Again, so $203,000 if I do a straight $405,000 mortgage. Again, let's put that up to $450, just so you can see it again. There's $450, and we're going to do the $45,000 prepayment, $170. So far less. So you get the bigger mortgage. You do the massive 10% prepayment on day 1, and you're saving $33,000 interest. I cannot believe this. I think we solved the problem.